It's always exciting to us watch fans when we see a brand offer some good value for money or bang for buck, so to speak. I've got the new Zelos Mako here. This is a new release from them, and I think it does offer that good value proposition. There's a lot of materials, details, and features to this that I think are pretty impressive for the price. So I'm going to give this watch away at the end of the video. I always do that when I'm given or gifted a watch from a micro brand to feature on the channel. I think it's just a great thing to do to help lend credibility to the positive things that I say in the video, and then also give it to a young man at the end to really kind of start their interest in watches and their journey in horology. So stay tuned for that. I'll throw some specs here on the screen to start so you guys can get a sense of the size of this piece. It is actually very traditionally sized at 40 millimeters. And I like to see that from a brand. I like to see them offering the watches that work really well on those of us that have smaller wrists. I think that paired with the crown at the 4 o'clock position, the lug-to-lug length, just makes this a very wearable piece on just about any wrist. And I'm going to show it to you on my 7.25 inch wrist. I think it looks really good. And again, all those details and features of the watch really shine in different lights. So let's jump into that. We have a domed sapphire crystal. It's nice and thick. It's got AR coating on the underside. So we get some good sheen, some blue iridescence in different lighting scenarios. And I think, you can see the details of the dial really well through it. We've got a texturized dial that looks so sharp. Each one of those ridges is very dimensional. And I like how wide they are out by where the applied markers are. And I like how narrow they get toward that center hand stack. It's very dimensional, and the sunburst effect really just adds to just how much it pops. We have a matching date wheel at the 6 o'clock position. We've got nice applied markers. They're deep filled with Superluminova C3. And we have a ceramic bezel insert. This time it's brushed. And it's also loomed too with C3, which is nice to see. We've got a long hand stack. They're beveled. Look at the seconds hand. Look how large that loom pip is at the end of that seconds hand. That's really cool. That is done in BGW9, and it matches the BGW9 loom pips for each of the 60 indexes going around the dial. I think that's also just a fun detail to see. I like the applied logo just under the 12 o'clock position. Just everything about this dial really pops. It's very visually stunning. And I just like to see it at different lights. I like seeing the distortion created by that dome on the sapphire crystal at oblique or extreme angles. That's just really fun to look at. We've also got a loomed sign crown, which I think is something that Zelos usually does. It's not, purpose. There's no purpose to it other than it just looks really cool in low light situations. So I'll drop in that loom shot here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. That loom looks really good. It's potent. The hands and the markers, they last the longest. The loom on the crown and the bezel insert fades the quickest. But I think, it's just really well executed here. Now we have a Swiss-made Sellita SW200, which I think is also kind of refreshing to see. Most micro brands utilize Miyota or NH35 movements from Seiko. So I like the fact that this has a Swiss-made 4 Hertz movement. It just adds to that value proposition that I mentioned earlier. So this watch retails for $429. I think for that price, you do get quite a bit. You got a great size, great materials, great execution, the texturized dial, the movement. It comes on this leather strap here, this distressed leather strap with a custom buckle, signed buckle. And then Zelos also includes a Tropic rubber strap, which is nice to see. You could switch the hardware and put it on the watch and use it in water because this watch is rated to 500 meters of water resistance. So it's a pretty serious little tool diver. And I think it's just, nicely sized, nicely executed, and there's some good value proposition. So, I like what I'm seeing from Zelos. This is my first time experiencing the brand, and I think they're heading in a very good and positive direction. So let's do the giveaway now. I've selected Axel. He's a young man in my neighborhood. Awesome young man. and I'm excited to give this to him. I'll drop some pictures here of this on his wrist. I know he's really going to love it, and I hope you guys give him a nice congratulations in the comments. This is pretty cool to kind of start a young man on his watch journey with a very cool, very well-built watch. I think it's a good way to get into the hobby. So big thanks to Zelos. I'll put a link to their website so you guys can see the other color options that they offer. I love the meteorite dial version. I think that looks really good. And so yeah, check them out if you're interested. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.